We're ready to roll on another Tuesday night here on Unverified. David Land, Kyle Cuthbertson, Tony Donohue with you. And boy, do we have so much to talk about. And we're not even to October. You know, we got 6 months of an off season ahead. But one of the days that we have been anticipating for really months now, because we've seen the schedule in the past come out in June and July. We finally get the 2026 edition of the IndyCar schedule. We were not invited to the banquet. They probably didn't allow the leakers to join. So here we are. We're happy you're here on a Tuesday. It's IMSA week. David's got a new haircut. He's ready for the IMSA Riz.
IMSA Riz, baby.
Kyle's going to tell us all about Will Power over the weekend and what went on with Kart Chaser. We've got the schedule to break down. This is a safe place for you to bitch, complain, moan, be excited, look forward to all of it when it comes to the 2026 IndyCar schedule. We'll preview IMSA coming up this weekend, one of David's favorite weeks. He got a haircut for it. Gentlemen, happy Tuesday night to you.
I can't wait. I can say whatever I want because everybody's at the banquet. This is we're off. We're off to the races, race fans. It's gonna be great.
Somebody's watching on their phone. You know that.
Well, that's true. And whoever's at the banquet who's watching on your phone, come find me this weekend. I'll give you something. I don't know what it'll be, but just tell me you were watching at the banquet. That's all I need to hear.
Kyle, let's start with you. Big weekend for you guys at Kart Chaser. I know Will Power was a storyline among other storylines in North Carolina. What do we see, I believe, in Mooresville, correct?
Yeah, Will qualified on Thursday. Said he had some stuff to do around the house on Friday because he's leaving for Australia yesterday. And came back and ran the race.
People over.
Yeah, he even on Saturday during the race day, did the warm up at 4 p.m. left because he said he had to put Bo to bed, and then came back and ran the damn race. So it was very Will Power. It was very fun. He qualified P13 and then P11 after penalty. I actually think the penalties got reversed, so I think that was wrong. But P13, and then he started last because he missed all the heat races on Friday, and then drove up to 14th, I believe. Nothing flashy out of Will, nothing crazy, but for a guy that hops in a go-kart every once in a while, he did end up getting a good engine, and he was on a new Burrell, so it wasn't a bad kart, but not bad, not a bad run.
I just want to give a shout out to Kart Chaser for last second getting an onboard on Will Power. That was awesome. Awesome.
My boss, Xander Clements, gives me a text, and he just says, hey, if you don't get a onboard on Will Power, that'll be a huge fumble. And I didn't have the idea myself, so when he said that, I was like, oh, shit, here we go. It's this is my problem now. I have to go track down Will. I had to wait 2 hours for him to get back from his house, and then he got back an hour before the race, and then we're running around the paddock trying to find a camera mount. It was a mess, but we got it done. We jerry-rigged the mount, mounted the camera on there. Yeah, definitely not how I saw my Saturday going, was spending 30 minutes of it trying to mount an onboard camera with Will Power.
Kyle, what is having a guy like Will Power race? What does that mean for Kart Chaser and a lot of the drivers as well, being able to kind of go up against that kind of competition? Obviously, we know that you have a past with Connor Zilic running those type of things, but what does it mean for Kart Chaser to have the name like Will Power racing with them?
Yeah, there's two different ways to look at it, because you brought up Connor Zilic, and we had Connor when he was young and nobody knew him, right? Mm-hmm. So there's that aspect where there are kids racing now that I can point to and say hey, you're going to know this kid's name in USF in a few years or in NASCAR. But having a guy like Will come from IndyCar and race, which we're going to have Newgarden race next month in a car. We've had him race Super Nats a couple of years ago. You look back at 2016, Sergio Perez ran the Super Nationals when he was an F1 driver. Rossi did. When you have that, it kind of just shows what we're trying to build at Kart Chaser, where we have our own pro drivers who are, paid by chassis manufacturers in karting as pro drivers to coach the kids coming up and to win races. So you can look back and you can say, hey, AJ Myers qualified a second at 2 seconds ahead of Will Power. These guys can get it done. It's not like in karting, like these guys are really good. You can't just have an IndyCar driver that comes down and whoops them, like it takes a specific skill in karting. And I think it kind of just gives us a little bit more, just kind of validates us a little bit more that our drivers are good at what they do. It's not that they could get into an IndyCar and be quick, right? But like, like the IndyCar drivers can't just go into karting. It's like coming to NASCAR to IndyCar. Like it's a different type of racing, you can't, yeah.
I believe he ran kart number 226. Somebody in the chat asked if he ran 26, but I believe it was 226.
It was 226 because the way they do it, it's really stupid. Because like in different karting series, they've made it now to where our pro classes are normal double-digit numbers. But for a long time, each karting class, each different engine starts with a 3-digit number. So like the 900s are KA, the 100s are mini Swift. So like the first number is like technically the class. So everybody in shifter, except for the top 3 in the championship, were running 200 numbers. So technically he was running 26, but because Stars specifically still runs a triple-digit number, it was 226. David's smiling because he knows about it. He's worked for Kart Chaser.
I know the karting lore and the odd quirks that some folks. It sounds a lot like IndyCar, honestly. It's like there's some things, and like there's some traditions we need to hold on to, and some traditions we need to let go of, and the class numbers for pro class,
honestly, why I enjoy working for Kart Chaser so much, and what I've been able to do for the past 5 years is because what we've been able to kind of bring some new ideas in life into kind of pulling up the pro drivers and like the pro status and treat it like a professional motorsport to the point where having double-digit numbers now in the pro classes and like being able to make karting in a way to where people watching it can recognize and make it easier for them to watch like simple things like having double-digit numbers. But yeah, you ran 226, but it was the first time you saw him with a 26. I thought it was cool. And so this was other lore that got discussed on Twitter. Someone asked, it was Jordy Carr. If you know Jordy, he's really popular on Twitter. He asked why Will had like an Apex GP looking plain suit, and the lore on that is because when he raced for Penske, like obviously if you're racing for a race team like Penske and IndyCar, like they might have some questions or some issues with the racing go-karts in your free time. Like the only thing that they couldn't do, Joseph as well, is they can't have Penske sponsors on their karting suit or their helmets. And so all of Will's stuff is blank. But now when Will ran on Saturday, he had like an older helmet that he was running, and it had Chevy and Meyer on the front of it. I was like, hey, yeah, new contract, new helmet, Will, huh? Yeah. It's crazy.
All right, well, let's get to what everybody is here for, and that is a breakdown of the 2026 IndyCar schedule. I just clicked on IndyCar.com. I don't know if this has been mentioned, and I don't know if this is 100%. I'm hoping that it is, but every race, once again, will be back on Fox, which I think is something that I haven't heard mentioned really too much over the last couple of hours. But according to IndyCar.com, every race will be on Fox. Let's go through it.
Well, let me pause this serious train really quick because I have the graphic pulled up, but I have one thing I want to pull up before we get serious because you guys were at the game.
We were 2-0, Tony. Respect Indiana Jones. The Colts are good. The Colts, they're going to win. Right now, they might be the best team in the AFC. Tony,
I'm all in. So I took David and I went to the Colts game on Sunday. I texted him about noon, said, come get me in an hour. We'll go to the game. We had a great time. Shane Steichen was absolutely 100,000% bailed out by a leverage. And David and I are sitting there looking at each other like, why isn't he calling timeouts? Is he really going to set up a 59-yard field goal to try to win this thing? And obviously that thing fell about as short and right as Vanderjack has in his past. But yeah, 2-0, great win for the Colts. Love to see it. Should get a win down in David's favorite city on Sunday in Nashville. And we'll see what happens when they take on the Rams, which will be a huge test coming up.
I hope they demolish the Titans. I hope they destroy them. It's going to be great. I'm not going to see the game because I'm going to be watching an IMSA race, which is objectively better than watching the Colts shellac the Titans. But I will say this. There was a lot of IndyCar people at the game. You guys know who you are, but the most important one was the one who was shouted out in the video board, Alex Palou, pillar member of the community, showing up, going to the Colts game, and got a great ovation, I thought. The Colts fans really embraced Alex Palou, so I thought that was great to see.
Yeah, you have Palou and Tyrese Halliburton in the same like section with Pat McAfee, and I'm like, this is so.
Obi Toppin was there. Obi hit the anvil.
You guys are full
the
on.
coats.
Just, you can tell like the city is excited when you have the 500 champion Tyrese and Pat McAfee together rooting on the Colts. Like
Kyle, this is the first time since 2009 that the Colts have been 2-0. Do you know how old I was in 2000? I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
What year?
2009.
2009. Okay.
2009. Because that was the year they should have gone undefeated, and then they didn't. And then they got beat by who? Oh, yeah, that's right, Sean Payton in the Super Bowl. So that was another – it was great to see Sean Payton lose, too. I was very happy about that.
I was 8 years old.
Somebody in the chat asked why we're not at the banquet. We never got an invite, and we figured we would rather just do the show. Anyway, so no.
We care about the people here. We care about the people at Unverified, and the people demand us to talk about the IndyCar schedule.
I actually feel really unprepared every time we bring up the banquet. We should have prepared our own award show. Like we should have had suits on. Like maybe we'll do that next week.
I'll wear a tuxedo shirt maybe.
We have done.
That's all right. I don't know. I went a couple years ago, and I honestly I didn't see an invite. I didn't see an email come out about it, but they had to let local TV get there tonight.
Tony, you are Tony. What I got to eat at the Mug and Bun tonight. I got to clean my house. I scrubbed my tub. Like I talked about the schedule. Like I had a great day. I don't need to go to the bed. Okay.
You didn't let me finish. They didn't invite us because they had to invite all the local TV people to be there because we sure as hell know they're not going to be there this weekend to cover IMSA.
It's a good point. They get to see us in a couple of days, or at least they get to see me in a couple of days. Tony will play pickleball maybe.
Yeah. Have you seen the new rackets? The new pickleball rackets came in today.
I can't wait.
Our friend Jason Van Sickle from the IMS Museum, they're doing pickleball inside of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway this weekend. So we're going to be playing on Saturday, and he got me a Marmon Wasp pickleball paddle. So we'll get to IMSA. Let's break down this schedule. I think the first thing to talk about is the first 3 weeks back to back to back. Let's give them props. They listen to the fan base, and starting a season and then having a couple weeks off before your next race does not build momentum. You have 4 races in the month of March, obviously starting out at St. Pete. Then you go out to Phoenix with the doubleheader and the sharing of the paddocks with NASCAR. You'll come back and you will do the street course, in Arlington. And then Barber moves up about a month on the schedule. Importantly, here in the month of March, you're not going up against that mammoth weekend that is the opening weekend of the NCAA tournament, which I think I talked about that, and not going up against the Masters, which we'll talk about when we get to April. But, guys, our general consensus on this first month, you get a street course, you get a short oval, and then you get another street course, 2 new venues, one IndyCar has been to before. I love the start to the season. I love the month of March that IndyCar has on the 2026 schedule.
No complaints from me. March is great. I think that, and quite honestly, like credit to IndyCar, credit to everybody who put this together. Fox, I'm sure, had a big part in this.
A huge part.
Huge part, right? To go from this season where it was so disjointed at the beginning of the season to 3 races in a row, 2 with a NASCAR crossover, and a new event in Arlington, Texas. Only 1 week off, and really for the reality of the situation is for a lot of people, myself included, that's not going to be a week off because we're all going to go to Sebring, Florida. But then to follow it up with Barber, I think that you've got a really strong start to the season where if you do have the momentum, well, you won't have a Super Bowl this year, but if you do have the momentum from a Fox promotional push going into the season, you're really going to be able to capitalize on it this time. I mean, I could not be happier about Phoenix coming back. I'm curious about how it's going to work with NASCAR, how nice NASCAR is going to play with IndyCar. That was a huge complaint when they ran the Indy GP, was IndyCar was the redheaded stepchild at their own racetrack. I thought that was insane behavior. So I think there's a lot of things to be positive about, especially early on in the season.
Kyle, your thoughts on ripping off a pretty big month of March here to start things off?
Yeah, I think going back to Phoenix is huge. I think if you give them the high downforce package we've used at Gateway and I believe Milwaukee as well, that's going to be a banger. The 2016 and 17 were not good with the high, like the aero kits, but I think 2018 was a lot better than people will remember and give it credit for. And then, the only thing, I mean, look, the crazy part is like to the untrained eye, to the untrained IndyCar fan, April 19th to May 9th looks pretty long, but we're going to have an April test in the middle there to talk about, give us something on track to give us kind of some hype and kind of get our minds looking at the 500. Really, the only thing that I would change in that lead up is, there's the obvious, maybe pull the GP back a weekend and give us opening day, like on a Saturday or something. Give us something more in the month of May. Maybe like let the GP and the 500 breathe a little bit between each other. Barber and March 29th. That could be, I mean, it is Alabama. It is Alabama, but like, you think it could be kind of cold?
I'm okay. I would prefer cold over hot.
Did we do what? I'm trying to think. Did we go to Barber in March in 2021, or was that April?
No, it was way later.
When we went, like
2021, they started the season really late. I feel like they started in like late April because I think it took Long Beach's spot.
That's true.
Yeah, that was a weird. 2021 was a weird year.
Yeah. It was April 18th.
Taurus makes a good point. It seems to be a big deal because NASCAR is mentioning IndyCar on their website. We'll talk about this a little bit more.
They have to.
They're both Fox races, right?
Yeah.
Like at this point.
But no, like NASCAR had a full article about IndyCar running with them on their website. It wasn't just like a mention of it. It was a full article.
Well, it's a value add for them too. Let's not pretend that NASCAR wouldn't benefit. There's no zero benefit to NASCAR and IndyCar to NASCAR having a shared weekend on an oval, and it's the first time it's ever happened, right? So I think that it is notable that these two series. I'm actually surprised it's not a bigger deal, which is a red flag to me, by the way, that it is going to be a one and done.
It's a win for them too, right? Because I can't imagine that spring Phoenix date was selling out, or I can't imagine that. I feel like with IndyCar going there, you're definitely going to get a boost of IndyCar fans going to that race. I think one of the perks of like why I want to go is because like you get the double feature of seeing NASCAR as well. Like I think that's awesome. That makes me really want to go, is to be able to see both. And I actually got to attend the Phoenix. That weird thing in Nashville we do where we call them Grand Prix. Well, like we did do that at Phoenix. It was called the Phoenix Grand Prix in
the Desert Diamond Grand Prix.
They eventually changed it, but like 2016 was the Phoenix Grand Prix. I still have all the pins and all that.
Yikes.
And then it turned into the Desert Diamond GP, and but I went the first year in 2016, and it was pretty dead. There were not a lot of people, a lot of diehard IndyCar fans actually, but like it was not a lot of people. It was not great, but it was a fun event. But I think with NASCAR, like NASCAR brings a lot more, like they bring a lot more things to do in the fan area. I think the base crowd for NASCAR at Phoenix specifically is going to be a little bit bigger. And, I think the race that IndyCar is going to put on at Phoenix is going to be spectacular. So I think it's an overall win for both parties.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us are looking forward to seeing the trucks on the streets of St. Pete. I know Ryan Blaney was talking about today about the crossover and being excited to see IndyCar run at Phoenix with them. So
he should do the double.
No,
Blaney should do the double. Come on, Blaney. You guys don't practice and qualify anymore. You got plenty of time on Saturday. Roger's got cars.
It'd be so crazy to see like Connor Zilic or Kyle Larson do it. Like that would be crazy.
What would be
McLaren? Get that fourth car out.
What's the process on that? Do you have to have? You don't have to have you have to have an oval test, I think, before that going in.
If the rumors are true that spring training is going to take place at Phoenix, you could do it there.
Yeah. I know it's a different. I know it's a different, like, whole different thing, but like, yeah. What are we doing at IndyCar where we're having discussions on like, yeah, we're not going to let a Cup Series driver who's competing the next day, like, drive an IndyCar in the race. Like, we're going to like not allow it. Like, I know it's more dangerous and like, but like, come on, what are we talking about? What are we doing?
The month of April, as Kyle mentioned, you're going to get the Streets of Long Beach, which will not go up against the Masters, which I think is another opportunity there to gain a better rating and to get a better, more eyes on that race. And then you'll obviously have the Indianapolis 500 test. So as Kyle mentioned, April doesn't look that crazy busy, but it will be with that test and with the race on the 19th. Then we get the month of May, which is the road course race, May 9th, the Indianapolis 500, the 110th running on May 24th, and then Detroit, May 31st. So pretty status quo there. But let's look at the month of June, where we see 2 races with Gateway on the 7th and Road America on the 21st. I think that's pretty similar to what we saw last year. And then July is very interesting because that's when the World Cup gets really fully into it. You get Mid-Ohio July 5th, 4th of July weekend, which has been a staple on the calendar for IndyCar. And then you move up Nashville to July 19th with a lead-in from the final of the World Cup. Another great opportunity there, David, for ratings to skyrocket on what should be another good race. We can have this debate now or we can wait. We all think that the season should end on an oval. The season should end in Nashville. If I'm Scott Borchetta, I'm probably not the happiest person in the IndyCar world right now. But Nashville moves up to July 19th, 400 miles, and the lead-in will be the finale of the 2026 World Cup.
Well, a little bit of background on this. Originally, this was supposed to be up until like a couple of weeks ago, and maybe even this week. I'm not really sure exactly what the timing is on this, but that was originally, that July 19th date was going to be the Laguna Seca date, and then they were going to go on to Mexico City the week after that and run that race. Now, whenever Mexico City fell apart, which there's all sorts of different stories about when that happened or how it happened, the point is that it happened. It fell apart. So when that took place is when we heard all this talk about Laguna Seca and Nashville swapping dates. Now, here's, I guess, the advantage for Scott Borchetta, if there is any beef there. Scott, all of a sudden, might have the biggest TV audience, as you mentioned, the World Cup, might have the biggest TV audience that IndyCar is going to have outside of the Indy 500 next year. You get a spectacular race. We know this track delivers now. We've had 2 races in a row at Nashville Superspeedway that have been awesome. What's the other thing we've been saying about Nashville? It needs to be a night race. It's going to be a night race. What's the other thing we said about Nashville and ovals in general? They need to be longer races. It's a longer race. It should have been 500 miles, but the fact that it's 400, that's good enough, right? So I guess the one thing I would say here is, yeah, I'm pissed, and we'll talk about Monterey when we get there. But to me, if you're going to make a move like this, give me something in return. Mm-hmm. And so, at least from what I've seen, you're not only giving me you're keeping Nashville on the schedule, we're staying at the Oval, but we're also doing a longer race, which to me, longer IndyCar races on ovals, regardless of what they are, but when they feel like a marquee event. So you've got a marquee event, you've got it under the lights, so you won't have to worry about the heat. I'm a little bit worried about the weather, but we'll see how it goes in Nashville. I think it's going to be a really solid event. And so I hate that it's not the finale. Imagine if it was 400 miles at night in the finale. That would be the best case scenario. But I think if you were going to make this change, it's not a bad change.
Why are we so worried about the weather? I mean, if May is one of the rainiest months in Indiana, and we still have the Indy 500. So I know weather is an excuse of some sorts, but you can't control it, and you can't move your schedule around because it might be rainy.
Well,
we sweated our asses off in the streets of Nashville before, so it's going to be hot. It was hot as hell at Road America this year. It was hot as hell at Mid-Ohio this year. That's just part of it. We're going to go out there, and we're going to get our tan on.
Well, but I guess the one built-in thing with the Indy 500 is if you run it on Monday, it's a holiday, and you're still going to have people out of out of work to be able to watch it. But I think even if you ran the Indy 500 on a weekday, it would still get over 2 million viewers, and no IndyCar race is getting that.
Okay, so that's a great point. With this lead into Nashville with the World Cup final, what do you feel that is worth? Is that worth 700,000? Is that worth almost doubling your audience from this year and pushing to the 2 million mark? I know it's probably too early to say, but if you're going to have, probably 10, 15 million plus watching the finale of the World Cup, can 10% of those people, which would be 1 to 1.5 million, tune into IndyCar? I mean, can we see a 2 million rating for Nashville?
I hope it's a really boring match. I hope a lot of people fall asleep at the TV. That would be the best case scenario.
That is certainly true. But yeah, I mean, look, like you said, with Scott Borchetta, you should have more eyes on your product as the title sponsor. 400 miles under the lights. It's going to be a lot of fun in Nashville. So we'll probably have our now we probably won't party too hard.
Well,
that night.
So backstory, the July 19th is the day after my birthday. So the Saturday night will be
Saturday night,
birthday.
Dude. Hold on a second. Can we just talk about the IndyCar paddock for a second? You're going to tell me that you're going to put on a night race on a Sunday night? That Saturday night before Nashville is going to be the most high school ass party you've ever seen. Everybody's going to be walking around with a red Solo Cup. There are going to be more. I mean, you want drama? Don't watch the race. Go downtown Nashville and see the IndyCar paddock fall apart.
Saturday night of the Nashville IndyCar race next year is going to be my birthday. And I get
Kyle's going to burn it down. My God, we're going to lose Kyle.
In the next
Chip Ganassi is going to lock away his crew and throw away the key for the night.
Well, okay. So let's talk about that for a second. There are 2 races on the calendar that the teams circle, and they try to keep their crews away from the party zones. It's Road America and it's Mid-Ohio. My God, we've got the degeneracy triplets right here. We got Road America into Mid-Ohio into Nashville. That's going to be the most hungover 3 races of all time. It's going to be unbelievable.
My liver's going to go to shit that month.
You're going to see so many pit stop mistakes it'll make your head spin. Clip this. You're going to see pit stop mistakes in those 3 races.
That should be around the time that a lot of people inside of the paddock and a lot of people that work are going to start checking out and drink their wine and their Negronis as we get into that second part of the 2026 season. Then we get to August, Portland, August 9th. August 16th, we get to go to Ontario.
What?
We get to
Hell, son, it ain't 1973. We're not going to Ontario. That's Markham, son.
Markham. It should be the Grand Prix of Ontario. Markham just doesn't sound right.
I mean, it's in Markham, and everybody.
Also in Ontario.
Well, it is in Ontario. That'd be like saying the Indy 500 is the Indiana 500, though. It's not quite right.
No, that's not even close.
It is. It's the province, right?
Nobody knows where Markham is. The random fan.
Well, it's quite
what the
true.
hell is Markham? Is this?
We're gonna put them on the map. We're going to put them on the map. It's the suburbs. That's what everybody... I made so many friends in Canada. They tell me all about Canada now, and they say Markham's... It's the suburbs, unfortunately.
I can't wait for the Carmel Grand Prix.
Well, no.
2032.
No, this is like the Greenwood Grand Prix, Tony. That's what I understand Markham's like. Yeah, it's not Carmel, buddy. Oh, no. No. It's the Greenwood Grand Prix, baby.
Oh, well,
and we just lost everybody who doesn't understand anything about Indy right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so a big part of the schedule that was added is a doubleheader to Milwaukee. So you split the Iowa races that have gone away. One obviously goes to Phoenix. Another one goes to the doubleheader at Milwaukee, which I thought worked perfectly last year. I think this year we were saying, man, I wish there was 2 races to this. Very excited that Milwaukee gets a doubleheader. I know some fans don't like them. I know the crews may not, but man, excited for back-to-back races on the Milwaukee Mile, the 29th and the 30th.
3-day show, baby, at Milwaukee. That's what we're talking about. That's what it needed to be. I thought last year at Milwaukee was just one of the most wonderful IndyCar experiences I've ever had outside the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. If they ran 7 races, they could run a whole week at Milwaukee, and I'd be happy.
Yeah,
Rocky Rococo's, baby.
They had 2 options with that. They could have made it, to me, a 400-miler of one race, or the doubleheader, and it would have been fine. I think like one race this year was, by the end of it, I think all of us in the stands, not only because we love IndyCar, but just based on how short the race was and everything that transpired, we wanted more. Like that was not enough of an IndyCar experience in my eyes.
So here's 20% of your schedule in the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's tough. There's no doubt about it.
Awesome. And we, damn it, the IndyCar paddock, we love spotted cow. We're going to be, we get to be supplied with spotted cow in June to last us through July in the summertime. And then we get to re-stack them in August. And I still have my case of spotted cow like right now. So now I'm good probably until October or November. Like we get 2 resupplies of spotted cow. It's great.
Hold on. So we got to make sure the Brewers are in town, David.
Oh, they're going to be playing damn San Francisco again. I'm so tired of seeing San Francisco.
What are you looking for? The Brewers probably don't have their damn 2026 schedule up for.
Yeah, you think baseball's as put together as IndyCar? Their schedule is going to come out later than IndyCar's.
No, it's already out.
Oh, well, there you go.
Wow.
Ugh. Wait, wow! When the Major League Baseball's in a better position.
Oh, there we go. The Milwaukee Brewers at home all weekend long, taking
against the Tigers. Come on, Tigers. No,
the Texas Rangers.
Oh, that's going to be cooties.
We'll get Lindsay up. We'll fly Lindsay up from.
Well, from
Arlington, from Dallas.
I can already see it now. They're going to be, hey, you got to go to the next Arlington Grand Prix. It's going to be the Arlington Grand Prix night. They're going to give away a flag. Actually, they're not going to do that. Never mind.
They're away. What are you talking about?
No. Oh, good. Well, no, IndyCar could do that, though. IndyCar could do that. IndyCar could be like, hey, these are 2 cities that we race in.
They ain't that smart. Let's move on. The season
I tried.
Wrapping up in 2026, September 6th at Laguna Seca. Now, I want to preference what we're probably about to say has nothing to do. Okay, was Laguna the best race this year? No. Do we like Laguna Seca? Yes. Do we like the people that run Laguna Seca? Yes. Did David have a great time in Laguna Seca while everybody else was watching the Brickyard 400? Probably. But not ending this season, not ending 2026 on an oval, I think robs us of a lot of different things. I am not the biggest fan of it. I would be saying this if they were ending it on any road course in the United States. It's not really Laguna Seca, although it's probably like 15% because the racing hasn't been the best. But let it rip, David. Finishing at Laguna Seca in 2026.
I mean, it is what it is. I understand the move. Like at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, the fans dictate really one race, and that's the Indy 500. All the other ones are dictated by business-to-business relationships. Mm-hmm. And so, unfortunately, for a lot of us in the sport who either like good racing or like to party, or maybe some of us who like both, Nashville was exactly the right place for the season finale. For an executive, for maybe some of the team owner or some of the series owners who like to wear vests. It's a place where you can go to Pebble Beach. You can go hang out with your rich buddies. You can drink wine. You can see cool cars. You can drive your cool cars. It's probably not going to rain. It will fog, so don't do anything in the morning, guys.
What do they call it? The marine layer?
No marine layer. We got to make sure the marine, so we can all sleep in. It'll feel like just like Nashville because everybody's going to sleep in and be degenerate. But the good news is we'll actually be able to race at some point during the day. But I don't know. I mean,
is the vest going to drink with his pinky out? Is that how you're supposed to do that?
Well, I don't know. But from a pure racing standpoint, because at the end of the day, I go to auto races, believe it or not, to watch racing. And when I look at an auto race and I look at the calendar, and let's say because here's the thing that frustrates me about this. When we had the season finale on an oval for 2 years, we had 1 year where Will Power's seatbelt fails 5 laps into the race and we don't get the championship battle. And then next year, Alex Palou goes on a generational run, stomps everybody, and wraps the season up the earliest we've seen since 2002. That's tough. That's such a tough scene. And I'm telling you, next year, it won't matter if Alex Palou wins 11 races because he'll crash out in the other 5, and we're going to come to the last race of the season, and there's going to be 6 people mathematically eligible, and they're all going to be the guys that you would go, oh, they would be fast at Nashville, and you're going to sit there and you're going to watch Alex Palou just drive away 30 seconds ahead of the whole rest of the field, and the championship won't be anything exciting, and that's what I fear. I fear that we fumbled the oval season finale. We fumbled that incredible cinematic TV, made for TV battle to the championship.
So it's Pelot's fault.
No, it's not Pelot's fault. But it is going to feel like the Alex Pelot, appreciation tour going there. So I kind of hope that he has to win it at Milwaukee, and then we can just crown him at Milwaukee. We'll walk the Astor Cup out, and then everybody else, we can all go to California and drink wine the whole time, right? And not have to care. But and I will say this, Tony, to your point, because I think it is important that Laguna Seca, I think, is going to do a good job promoting this race. They have made so many improvements to that track, the management of that track, the new ownership of that track. It's all A+. They are going to do their damnedest to make that feel like a big event. I 100% trust them to do that. The problem is, it is what it is. But the only thing we ever talk about on track wise at Laguna Seca is something that happened 30 years ago and would be called a penalty today. And that's the pass of Alex Zanardi in 1996. So unless you have that happen again, it's just not going to put on the show that supposedly our 1/3 TV partner owner would want for a championship race. And then you start wondering about that P word that we sometimes bring up. And I don't know. It's disappointing. I'm disappointed.
Okay. I think the most disappointing part of it all is that it's a multiple year deal. Like there's at this point, they've already told us that we're not going back for a couple of years, which sucks. I think it's mostly because when we go to Laguna Seca, I think we've known for the last 3 or 4 years it's really a big event for sponsors. I hate that because Nashville, we really packed the house with a lot of pure IndyCar fans. But I think there's been a few good races there the last couple of years. You look at 2023 when we had that absolute shit show. When we had 2021 when Grosjean, it was 21 when Grosjean made that same move almost
on Jimmy,
and he was coming through the field. So I think it's possible to have good races there. But yeah, I think it's funny. I think while you were talking, David, I think the point that in my head that I thought of was, we had 2 years at Nashville that we didn't have a championship battle. And it's very funny because for like the 10 years straight that we had championship fights at the last race, we were going to frickin' Sonoma, which makes you want to pull your hair out.
Oh God, Kyle, I'm going to have a heart attack, bro.
Yeah.
You can't make me think that.
Yeah, no, think about that. Like it was like my entire like high school, early 20s, we were going to freaking Sonoma, and it was always a tight championship battle in IndyCar. That was like our marquee thing. You know what I mean? Like we always had tight championship battles.
Kyle, I just gotta say this. Imagine the 2015 championship is that Fontana race.
Yeah, no. In my opinion,
go ahead, continue.
You want to know where I think the championship should be Homestead. I think that.
That would be amazing.
Homestead under the lights, middle of September. That would be what I would put into the hat to say that's what we got to do.
I mean, what I would, they're not going to do it next year. And obviously there's a commitment to Laguna Seca to finish it. But if Phoenix works, maybe that's something to look into in the distant future past what?
Yeah, they just lost a championship finale for NASCAR.
Hold on. Wait. I'm gonna hit the brakes hard here. So we criticize California, which has the second biggest race in the IndyCar series, as not having enough IndyCar fans. We're going to go to Phoenix, Arizona for the finale.
Hey, he said
there are more IndyCar fans.
He said to give it a chance. He never said gung ho.
Well, I think we've learned, David, that the crowds in the stands really doesn't matter. It's who's watching on television.
I would agree with that.
Just ask Iowa.
Nobody watched it on TV or in person, unfortunately, with Iowa. But I don't know, man. That would be. I mean,
how many people are going to be in Laguna? 15,000.
Well, and that's the point. Is that it's going to be around the same number as Nashville, but is it going to feel the same way?
I don't know. Maybe not. All the old people in their retirement homes can come out and watch that are probably from Indy anyway. Some things that did not get across the finish line that were rumored to possibly happen for the 2026 schedule includes Mexico and includes Washington, D.C., as you mentioned last week on this show, David. With D.C., they wanted to do it. They just simply did not have the time to get it across the finish line. Milwaukee, we find out on Saturday at 11 a.m., trying to bury themselves in college football headlines, that Mexico City will not happen. First of all, awkward for it to come out on Saturday, but not seeing those two on the schedule. Do we ever? And it seems like the Vest has wanted to get to Mexico for the last decade and hasn't been able to do so.
I guess we'll address Mexico first. I mean, that to put that out on a Saturday was the most like blatant like PR bury I've seen in a while. That was very, I mean, like full crowd, like they knew what they were doing and they were just completely audacious about doing it that way. So full credit to them. I mean, well, they at least could have put it out like Friday night, but yeah, Saturday morning is crazy. Sorry, Kyle.
Well, to be fair, I think to their credit, I think even putting out a release in general was pretty cool. I think honestly in IndyCar past, what we would have criticized them for is a lack of transparency, which would have been just releasing the schedule with no Mexico and us going, what the hell? You've been saying, we've been talking about this for a year and you're just going to drop like nothing. At least they told us we're working on it still. Some things happen, not next year. Like they were, the transparency to me is like number one. Thank you. Like that, because that's what we've been complaining about. I think the most was having a leader that just would not bring up anything and act like we don't know anything, like, but we don't see what's going on. And then it kind of felt like it was being covered up. You know, I appreciate the transparency. But I mean, they were right to do it on a Saturday, though.
But it's exactly. But that's bare minimum.
In the past, we would have been digging into them for not doing that.
That's okay.
Do you think they got this information Saturday morning and said, "All right, let's fire out something in the next hour"? Come on, they got this at least Friday by noon.
No, what I was told, and I trust the source, is that the minute the Laguna stuff came out, that was when Mexico was done. The minute it came, like the minute we heard about that. Well, when did you hear about it, Tony? Can you give me if you can give me a date and a time? That's when we'll know exactly when the Mexico thing fell apart.
So I was told last Tuesday or Wednesday, I can't remember, the days run together, that they were considering finishing the season at Laguna Seca. I believe my tweet came out Thursday afternoon. So Thursday afternoon, I think for sure they knew that they weren't going to Mexico.
So there you go. So there was a lot of time. And again, they could have been preparing all sorts of different things. You know, we can give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt here, but the Saturday thing, that was tough. And again, it's bare minimum, right? It's bare minimum to say, hey, we've been talking about this. Well, I mean, technically we've been talking about it over a decade, but certainly ever since Mark made those comments at Milwaukee last year about Mexico and about whether Pato was going to be able to carry the torch down there. I mean, honestly, he dug his own hole. Because otherwise, I mean, Mexico has always been talked about. Always.
Wait, he wrote a check that wasn't cash? No, you're kidding me.
Well, but that's the thing, is everybody has talked about, like, Mexico has always kind of been on the radar. But it turned into a red hot issue in Milwaukee last year, and that fell on his shoulders to get done, and it didn't get done. And so to the other point of that, I'm curious, because I know that. So I can definitely say, like, 100%, like, the Washington, D.C. thing is real, right? That's totally real. I wonder how much of the talk was actually going to be like a replacement race, because, from everything I had heard and everything that just my kind of logical brain was telling me, is that a year away, like less than a year away from that race, when it would typically take place kind of end of July, early August, just wasn't enough time to put something in the nation's capital. Not enough time. No way.
Especially with the addition of all the 250 anniversary things that they are doing throughout the summer next year in Washington, D.C. for America's 250th birthday.
Yeah, And that would have been a great idea 3 years ago. If you had announced that 3 years ago and said, "Hey, this is the Indy 250 on the 250th birthday of America. Hell, we'll kick Mid-Ohio into August. Nobody cares about that. We'll put it on July 4th week." That'd be huge. But you would have had to plan that. And I don't know how much this genuinely. I don't know if Washington D.C. is looked at as a replacement for Mexico or if it's an addition with Mexico, because that was something that I think would be really cool, is if you keep the schedule pretty much as the way it is. Maybe you lose the doubleheader at Milwaukee again, or maybe you lose. I hope not. I hope you don't lose Phoenix. But if you add Denver, Mexico, and Washington D.C. next year, you're looking at that schedule and you're at 20 races, and you've added big markets in a foreign country on the East Coast, in the nation's capital, and in tech heaven, which is Denver. So I think that would be like, next year's schedule could be awesome for the sport.
And maybe we'll get in like June or July and be able to, talk to people that are involved in the sport, and maybe have a presser where we can ask some of these questions about the future and how long we're going to be at these tracks and how long the contract is for and what we could see in 2027. So I think Arlington's going to be a good event. David, I'm going to ask you this. We kind of talk about marquee events in IndyCar and what are the marquee events. I was talking to people involved with Laguna Seca earlier this summer, and they said their goal is to return Laguna Seca to being a marquee event. Do you put that as a marquee event now, knowing that it's the final race of the season?
Well, let me think about this, because what I was about to say was this. The people choose what the marquee events are. At the end of the day, it's what the public supports. What does the public support? Indy 500. They support the Long Beach Grand Prix. I would argue they support Milwaukee. That's probably first through third of the groundswell of support. Like, the fans make it feel like it matters. Nashville felt like that last year. It felt a little bit less like that this year. And I just shit on Mid-Ohio, but like Mid-Ohio kind of feels that way. Toronto definitely did. I couldn't believe how awesome Toronto felt. St. Pete, I think, is in that conversation. So if you're looking at Laguna Seca, and again, it was I attended the championship race in 2022 there versus the non-championship race I attended in 2025. It was a night and day difference. It felt like they were hosting the championship, and they weren't hosting the championship. So I think, I don't think it's totally down to, believe it or not, this is going to sound crazy for me to say, I don't think races are totally dependent on how they're marketed. I don't think that's what ultimately decides whether or not an event becomes a marquee event or not. I think marketing can help, or framing an event or making it feel like a big deal. That can certainly help. But at the end of the day, you need people who are passionate about Laguna Seca, who are passionate about IndyCar, and those people need to show up and make that race feel, because that's what a big event is. It's the people. It's the people that show up to it and make it feel, create those traditions, create that fun atmosphere, create that great nightlife. Like, all of those things are what makes a big event a big event. It's not necessarily, well, we're just going to promote the hell out of it. Well, but if you promote the hell out of it, nobody steps up and treats it like it's a big deal that you're trying to sell it as, then it will never be a big deal. So I don't know. That's the thing that I'm just wondering about with Laguna, is that they've got this great team there. They can promote the hell out of it, but are the people going to embrace it and treat it like it's a big deal, a big event, a marquee race? That's where my question mark is.
To that point, when it comes to ovals, remember last year, I think a lot of the complaint was they stacked all these Midwest ovals on top of each other towards the end of the season. If you're looking to travel, obviously Phoenix March 7th, Indy May the 24th, but then, early June, you get St. Louis. The next oval is July 19th in Nashville, and the next oval is a month later. So I do like how the ovals are spread out to those fans in the Midwest that want to attend these ovals, because what do we talk about? What does Graham Rahal always say? If we are going to have ovals, we need to have more people there. And we saw at the end of the 2024 season where it was like Iowa, Milwaukee, doubleheaders, and then Nashville, and Gateway. They were all thrown into like that last 6 weeks of the schedule. So I don't know if this was kind of an intention for IndyCar to do this, but the Midwest ovals are certainly spread out. Even though we did lose Iowa, you gain a race in Milwaukee. So I don't know if that was intentional. I don't know if that's a big deal or not, but I certainly noticed that.
Yeah,
I want to. Can I? Oh, sorry, Kyle. Go ahead. Okay, I just want to make a big point here because I do want to give IndyCar a lot of credit for this. I pointed out in my video as well. There's a lot of things that I think IndyCar kind of secretly did right on this. I don't think they're ever going to promote or brag that they did this, so I'll brag for them. The fact that there are no major conflicts with the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, that there's no direct conflict with the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and there's no conflict with the Brickyard 400. I think they freaking nailed it. I think they did such a good thing for the industry right there. I mean, it's unbelievable.
And outside of the industry, as we talked about early in the show, you're not going up against March Madness. You're not going up against the Masters, which definitely took ratings away from you in 2025 when the leaders are turning down the back nine in Augusta while you're going green in Long Beach.
So there you go, Tony. There really has been a lot of thought and care. I'm going to glaze him right here. Thought and care that went into this schedule. Because I didn't even know, honestly, Tony, if you didn't tweet that, you need to tweet that Long Beach is not going up against the Masters, because that's huge. That's huge for Long Beach, because I think that's a big thing, like industry-wide. We need to do a better job of Long Beach, making that a big event feel. And honestly, that's one of the things I wanted to go back to with the April into May stretch. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to have Long Beach as your last race before the Indy 500. It kind of makes it feel like you're going from strength to strength. And then I want to point out the other thing, too, is that with the Indy 500 test, we don't know yet, but we presume it's going to be after the Long Beach Grand Prix. The teams will be able to load in for May. We'll be able to set the racetrack up for May, and then no one has to go to Alabama. No one has to go anywhere else. I think it's going to be really good for the industry.
I'm sure Red's happy.
Well, who cares about that? What matters to me is the 33 cars, drivers, and teams that are going to take the green flag on May 24th. That's all that matters to me. And I think that this schedule takes care of those people. And so I think number one, in April, we need to do a better job, and I think we will, of promoting Long Beach and making that feel like a big event. And now we've got an amazing opportunity after Long Beach to focus entirely on the Indy 500 for a month and a half. I think it'll be great.
Do you think this opens up for IndyCar drivers to go run some of those IMSA events?
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, the fact that Alex Palou wasn't at the 24 Hours of Le Mans this year was a damn tragedy. Because the only time that any driver has won the two big races, Indy 500 and the 24 Hours of Le Mans the same year, was AJ Foyt in 1967. Now, Graham Hill did it in separate years, but AJ is the only one to do it back to back. And Palou, I guarantee you, would have had, I mean, maybe not a legitimate shot unless he was in a Ferrari, but to even have that storyline snuffed out in this year where Alex has been so great, I think it's super disappointing. So I would absolutely...
That would have been like, you might not think about these things, but to the point David's making, if that storyline alone, with the year that Alex Palou had, you have to think about it from a marketing perspective. By not clashing with the 24 Hours Le Mans and Palou being able to run that race, that storyline, and Palou being a big name, big deal driver heading into the 24 Hours Le Mans would have been huge for IndyCar. Just think about that.
Now, hang on a second. I do want to address this real quick. There's some talk in the chat that Honda doesn't hire Alex Palou. He is a contracted driver with them in IndyCar, but he can drive whatever he wants in sports cars. Same with Scott Dixon. So there's nothing stopping them from going and driving a Cadillac or a Ferrari or a Porsche. I won't say who I said this to. Well, let's just say they're in the Palou camp. I made the suggestion that, because there was some question mark for a little while, who would drive in the third seat for Penske Porsche. And I was like, you should get Alex. You should get Alex. Could you imagine Alex driving for Penske at Le Mans? You know how freaking cool that would be? I don't know. So yes, I think there's some really cool opportunities there. And again, yes, we can see IndyCar drivers in IMSA. Hell, how about this, Tony? We talk about crossovers. We talk about doubles. How about an IndyCar driver in the Brickyard 400 that's not named Catherine Legg?
Yeah, I'm all about that. I want to see some crossovers. Maybe it's St. Pete. Maybe throw Hinch or Connor Daly in a truck. Maybe we see something in Phoenix as well, but it's a great segue to one of your favorite weeks coming up. IMSA Riz is back. You got your haircut, you shaved, you're excited, you're ready to go. What do we expect coming up this weekend in, I believe, the final IMSA race at IMS? That'll be 6 hours. So I'll be up in turn one, getting hammered. Great.
Yes, it's the final race at the 6-hour distance. That race is moving to Road America next year. Indy will still have an IMSA race, but it'll be 2 hours and 40 minutes, and we won't have the Endurance Cup cars, so it'll be a little bit less exciting next year than it will be this year. Pretty interesting storylines going in. The last time the GTP cars raced, it was a 1-2 for BMW RLL. They're losing that program for next year. But the last time and the only other time they got a 1-2 was here at Indy last year in the rain. So I think that's going to be super cool. The thing that's so neat about IMSA, and I always say this, is IMSA scratches the itch that IndyCar sometimes doesn't. What I mean by that is if you miss the days of multiple chassis and multiple engines and you miss different sounds and good sounding car. I mean, I cannot, when that Aston Valkyrie comes by for the first time, bouncing off the aluminum grandstands, and I mean, that is going to be breathtaking. It's going to be one of the coolest things that you could experience as a race fan. So if you want to have a visceral, fun experience, come on out to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway this weekend because you're going to be entertained. Even if you don't care about the racing itself or understand, trust me, people who work in sports car racing don't understand the damn class structure. Don't worry about any of it. Just go there, watch some cool race cars, cheer for the dinosaur car in GT, have a good time. It's all good. It's chill. Trust me.
Play some pickleball. You could play some pickleball.
You could play pickleball if you want to. Tony, you've wanted to talk about pickleball this entire time. Go ahead.
That's the only reason Tony's going, man.
Tony's going only for the pickleball. He doesn't care about IMSA Riz. He cares about pickleball Riz.
Well, it's like I told you, if I had somebody that would walk me around and show me things and introduce me to people and just go talk to them with me, maybe I'd be a little bit more interested.
I'm not your agent, Tony.
Oh, but you want me to introduce you to half the people that we see walking around the IndyCar paddock. So what can people expect coming up on Sunday? Give us some times. Give us some drivers to look out for.
So the big thing to look out for really is the championship's pretty much wrapped up, believe it or not, in GTP. So I guess you could say everybody's going to be going for broke. It's going to be kind of like Nashville was for the IndyCars, where everybody's just going to be racing hard. It's one of your last two opportunities to see the Lamborghini SC63 race before that thing goes into the mothballs. So I think that, if you care about obscure prototypes, that's a good one. If you are a local IndyCar fan, you will probably like the LMP2 field, especially if you pay attention to the feeder championships. There's a lot of names that you'll recognize in there. GTD Pro is probably one of the most entertaining things you'll see in racing. From that class perspective, they will be elbows out. They will be knocking each other out, because Road America was this. They'll be knocking each other off the racetrack constantly. It will be, as it's always said on the broadcast, argy-bargy. And again, a great variety of cars, great field. I think it's just under 60 cars, which is almost a capacity field. It'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, I think it'll be good.
Kyle, what do you got going on this weekend? I'm sure you'll be out there joining us, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm gonna be a part of IMSA Riz. I'm very excited because I haven't been able to attend either of the Indianapolis IMSA races the last 2 years. So I'm glad I get to see the final 6-hour one. I can't lie, I am very excited for this 6-hour event to be at Road America. I think everyone is. I'm really excited for Petit Le Mans, but to get to see IMSA 10 minutes from my apartment is pretty cool. Just to go over there. I don't know what you're talking about is the championship actually decided? It looks like it's less than 100 points. I
don't think
there's races to go between the two Porsches.
Well, between the two Porsches, sorry.
Okay, yeah.
The two Porsches are going to fight it out, but no one else has a shot.
Yeah. Yeah,
we're not gonna. So what I'm saying is we're not gonna see the crazy dive bomb bullcrap that we've seen at Petit the last couple of years. So
yeah.
Petit might actually be like Sane this year, believe it or not.
Well, you say that, but last year it wasn't sane because
I'm trying to jinx it. I'm trying to jinx it.
It wasn't sane because of championship stuff. It was because damn leader lost his headlights. Like
Renger, it was Renger, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like that was one of the most insane things I've ever seen in my life. There's that car, and we have a friend of ours who's a fan of not only Cadillac but specifically Renger Van de Zandt.
Specifically Renger.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Sorry, his allegiances have changed this year. He's an Acura guy now.
Yeah.
But he's specifically a Renger fan, and we're sitting next to him, and he's having an aneurysm watching this, and he got so pissed because Renger would flash lights at GT cars, and the damn lights would go out, and he'd be like, "Renger, stop flashing your lights! They go out every time you do that." I mean, it was so funny. I mean, I wish that would have gone more viral than it did. I feel like that's underappreciated, believe it or not, how freaking crazy that was.
Oh, yeah.
Things get kickstarted on Thursday, downtown Main Street. Come say hi to David Land, give him a Dr. Pepper, see some of the cars, downtown Speedway. They do a great job there. There'll be a lot of IMS representation. Meet some of the drivers, and they have pit stop exhibitions. So that'll be cool to watch.
I should point out, because Sky Warren brought up an interesting point. Yes, Proton will not be there. Unfortunately, they're one of the Endurance Cup GTPs. They had a pretty nasty crash at Watkins Glen. Their chassis has not been fixed, but
which is crazy because there are so many Porsche 963s in this earth. Like,
yeah, honestly, where are the Jota cars right now? I've always wondered that. But the big thing about that is that the Iron Dames are not going to be there. And who runs the Iron Dames? Everybody, Prema.
Well, that's we're gonna have to save that for next week. There's still a lot of answers to come in the IndyCar silly season, from Renus VK to Jacob Abel to Prema. Boys, can't wait to hang out this weekend at IMS. I'm gonna eat a lot of food, watch some race cars, enjoy myself. David, I know you have the DL 500 Club coming up. No, you have an event tomorrow night. So what can fans expect from your channel the next couple of days?
It's going to be a lot of IMSA coverage. Going to be a lot of sporty car racing. Going to be talking to drivers. Going to be showing you the sights and sounds. And I'll try to sound educated as best I can. But I think it's going to be a good time. Yeah, I'm going to the Coforce event tomorrow, the Coforce Collective. First one that they're doing at their
I'll be there
Gearbox.
Too.
Yeah, Kyle's going to be there. Their Gearbox Studios here in downtown Indianapolis. That's an event hosted by Marshall Pruitt. A whole bunch of heavy hitters in the industry are going to speak. If you're a creative person in racing, I would say you should probably be there, or somebody who maybe wants to work in the industry. It's great to always hear from some of those heavy hitters when they kind of talk about where our industry is headed. And quite frankly, shout out to Coforce, because we need more cool things happening in Indy that are race car related. So the fact that they're my understanding, I don't think I'm speaking out of school saying this, is that I think the idea behind this is to do more events like this. So I think it's going to be really cool. So good job, Coforce.
Yeah, I'm very excited to kind of speak to some meet some like-minded people in the creative space in the motorsports, people kind of just like me, which is kind of as in such a niche profession,
niche internet micro celebrity, Kyle Cuthbertson,
in such a niche profession like motorsports and being a photographer, videographer. It's
we need to make IMSA picks. We need to make IMSA picks.
We do. We
can't let him off the hook. Hang on, I gotta look at the damn
Felipe
entry list.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
All right, so he's taking the 10 car. He's taking the 10 Cadillac. Actually, I don't need the entry list. I'm gonna raw dog it.
Give me the 60 Acura.
He's taking the 60
because I took the 93 at Detroit and they won. So I'll take
I said
time, then I'll take the 93 again at Petite. So
Oh shoot, who am I gonna pick? No, I think I have to, Kyle. I think I have to do it. I do like the idea of BMW winning it. No, I'm gonna have to do it, and I feel bad about doing it, but I'm gonna take 93. I think the 93 wins.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. What a flip.
I think you also missed one of the highlights of the weekend too. Is that if you're an F1 fan or a Logan Sargent fan, he's back.
Logie Bear.
See Logan Sargent back in action this weekend in LMP2.
There you go. Yeah, Logan Sargent in the PR1 car, which is interesting because that's going to become Brian Hurt Autosport next year. There's some Florida connections there with another driver who happens to be close to Brian. So
I wouldn't be shocked if teamed up for the Rolex.
Yeah, see, so there you go. I believe also, I could be wrong on this. I'm going to look over a little bit. I think Logan Sargent was connected to Genesis at one point. So just throwing that out there. I know nothing. I'm just throwing that out there. There you go. That's all we need to. That's all you need to see. So
stop by the Gutswear this weekend at IMS, David. They have your shirts, your IndyCar shirts, correct?
They got the shirts. Stay tuned. I think we might have something else. I don't want to make any promises though yet. It could be something else. Could be something else. I suppose I should make a GT Pro prediction. We're just gonna pretend like the non-pro classes don't exist because that's what this show has become. I'm gonna. You know what? I think it's gotta be Rexy, right? There's no way it's not Rexy. Gonna be Rexy. Taking Rexy, race fans. Kyle's looking at the entry list.
That's such an easy pick.
I know it's an easy pick. I took the two easy ones.
I didn't want to pick Rexy, but I guess I'll take Corvette. I'll take the 3-car.
Taking the 3-car.
They've had some moments, but I'll take them.
There you go. Okay.
No clue.
And Tony.
No clue. Give me somebody.
Let's see.
Who would I know?
Oh God, who would you would know? Jack Hawksworth.
Oh,
so you're gonna take the Lexus?
I'll take the Lexus. There you go.
You're gonna take the Lexus, the oldest car in the field, almost as old as 3 years younger than the DW12.
This is the last year we get to see the Lexus, right?
Correct. Well, till the new Lexus. But yes, we've got two races left of the RCF GT3. Wow. It's crazy.
I love that we're at that point in sports car. Like I feel like it's been a hot second where, we're in a point in sports car racing where we get to go to Petit next month and say, hey, this is the last time we get to see this car, or this car is going away and it's not turning into an Evo. This is just it, and we're moving to a different car. That's kind of fun. I like that. I'm
glad they're not leaving. That's the problem is when they're leaving that I don't like it.
Yeah, like when Mazda left. But that's the thing about sports car racing that you don't get in IndyCar is you get to the final race and you actually go to the final race because, hey, that might be your last time to see that car ever. Who's
all in? Is it LMP2 with like Pratt Miller? Isn't that James Rose running this weekend? Who else is running in that?
James Rose in that car, and Pietro Fittipaldi is in that car. So a couple of IndyCar adjacent drivers in that one.
I'll be sure to tune into that. Should be a great weekend.
Was that all you wanted to contribute there?
Well, you kind of cut out, so I really didn't. All I heard is you say Fittipaldi. So are they together? Are they together?
Yeah, they're paired in the Pratt Miller LMP2. Sorry, I don't know why I cut out.
Yeah, somebody called you Robo David. So, looking forward to it. Should be a steamy weekend. Say hi if you see David, Kyle, myself out at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Like and subscribe right here on Unverified, and we'll be back with the latest news inside of auto racing coming up next Tuesday.